This Drive for the Cure 250 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Gametime. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Use promo code SGPN on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Gametime app and use promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100 times. That's right. Turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. Finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
I believe that I will take that off, and it is a fine day to talk racing things here on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, still trying to get used to, if you're watching on YouTube, the overlays for the ad reads. But if you're listening to this, you're not worrying about that at all. You're wondering what the heck you're missing, which is a good excuse for you to go check out the YouTube channel. But Cody, buddy, it is a great day to talk about racing. I know we took yesterday off. I apologize for that. We sort of pushed the schedule ahead a day just because, I mean, it's a little flexible this week with no trucks in the mix, but thanks for your patience. We are back.
We're back. It's always a good day to talk racing. I'm excited. Xfinity Series back after a week off. No Xfinity last week, so glad we have them back this week. We got some Xfinity Series news today, so even better that we decided to wait. So there we go. It worked out perfectly.
Sure did.
And hey, we'll still be here for all our shows this week. You're just going to get one on Saturday instead of one on whatever day yesterday was, Wednesday. So there you go.
And I know you guys are probably like, I'm better off listening to one on Saturday than I am on Wednesday. So I think it'll work out in your favor. And you know what, Cody, I think you're right. I think the universe took care of us too, especially knowing that we were going to be pushing our episode a day forward to give us some exciting news. It looks like already. Well, I'll let you give the news and then I'll give my take afterwards. I'm sort of putting the cart before the horse, but yeah, definitely some exciting news from the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, Haley Deegan going full time in the Xfinity Series. Not too surprising of a move. We were kind of wondering where that might go. AM Racing announced last week that they would, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, they were going to field a second car next year. That's when everybody kind of assumed that's probably where she was going. So she will be full time in the 15 car for AM Racing. That's the team that Brad Moffitt drives for currently. Is Moffitt going to be back? He said last week he's looking for a ride. It seems like they might be looking for some funding. So interesting to see maybe who her teammate will be, but she's going to be full-time in the Xfinity Series. There's a lot of love one way, a lot of hate the other way. She's one of those very divisive drivers. I get it, but she's done a very good job in where she's been at. The Truck Series, we've talked about it. It's tough, right? And yeah, she's not been a Carson Hocevar or a Zane Smith or a Corey Heim where she's up front every week and all that, but she's done a good job and gotten good results, gotten beat around a little bit. The Truck Series can be that way. I think this will be a good test. She's obviously got the funding behind her. We know how much that means for these teams and for everything, and so that helps her move up here. I think it'll be a good opportunity. Be good to see what she can do in the Xfinity Series next.
And as most people know, 15 is my number. Like birthdays are all on 15 in the family. Anniversaries are 15. So 15 is a pretty big number in the family. When I create cars in my NASCAR, it's always the 15 car. So I've already have a lot of love for the 15 car. Now I have a favorite Xfinity driver. It will be Haley Deegan. If for no other reason than the 15 car is her car. And again, Cody, like you alluded to, it's so difficult sometimes to be a standout in the truck series and amidst all the chaos anyways, and it's already a chaotic series. Yeah, you're going to get the guys that stand out above the rest, but when you're not put in the most exclusive rides, when you are having to grind your way up through the sort of mid-tier, it's hard to differentiate yourself. So maybe this will give her a little bit of a leg up to be able to show how well she can drive. And maybe it doesn't. I mean, maybe she proves that she can't necessarily drive. Who knows at this point? So we'll find out next season for sure. But I, for one, am willing and able to give it a go. I want to see her succeed.
Yeah, and we'll see how the AM cars do, right? I mean, Moffitt's had a pretty decent season this year, but not like he was a playoff driver or anything like that either. So again, it's not the most elite equipment. Is there some help from Stuart Haas, some type of partnership there? Maybe. Kind of surprised she wasn't going to Stuart Haas car, but I would imagine Cole Custer will end up being back. This makes you believe Riley Herbst is probably coming back with his monster sponsor and all of that. So still some news obviously to come out, but it'll be good for her. Again, we both have daughters. They loved, my daughter always loves it. There's the girl in the number 1 truck, and now it'll be the girl in the 15 car. She likes to follow that and pay attention. So I like it.
And the more we've gotten to know her too, through SRX, through all of this other stuff that she's been doing outside of the truck series, I feel like, I feel like we're getting to know her as a driver and as a person too. So that always helps when you have a little bit of extra press on you outside of it.
Yep, absolutely.
So, all right. Any other news? I think that was the biggest news out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the biggest news. There's all the schedule stuff, which I think we'll probably maybe try and get to on one of the next 2 days shows where we kind of break that down a little, because that's there's a lot of changes to the schedule. So I think that we can come back to that. Just to set this up, this is a playoff cutoff race, just like over in the Cup Series. Same scenario here. Going to be the stage cautions. So do you flip the stages? Do you race for points? All of that. John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier have both won. They are both locked into the next round. Custer has 63 points to the good, which I believe makes him locked in. I guess I should probably find that info, but I think that means he's locked in. Austin Hill plus 44 to the good. Chandler Smith plus 32 to the good. Those guys all looking very good. Sammy Smith is plus 8 to the good. Creed plus 9 to the good. Number 10, formerly known as number 11, is 1 to the good. Parker Kligerman, 1 to the bad. I wonder who I'll be rooting for in that matchup. Jeb Burton, 19 below. Josh Berry, 27 below. And 2-time road course winner this season, Sam Mayer, 34 below the cutoff line. So 2 JRM cars looking like they're in almost must-win situations. They're going to need a lot of help to move on. Be interesting to see how that shakes out as we go into this race at the Roval.
And one notable name missing from the entire entry list is the guy that's won all 4 of these races in the Xfinity Series, AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah,
so
finally get a new winner.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody, Cody, is going to win this race for the first time as an Xfinity driver. Isn't that crazy? I looked through and I was like, I cannot believe
he's absolutely owned this race. And so I guess from a standpoint of we get to see somebody different, that'll be nice, right?
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that that he has won all 4 of them. Now he won't be in there anymore.
It's not too crazy. He's pretty much dominated the Xfinity Series and
that's true.
On the road courses, but
that's true. All right, well then we will set up this race for you. I think now is the perfect time as any to start laying out some of our bets and talk about this race. But first, let me tell you about Gametime. You want to buy tickets? Believe me, it's a hassle. It doesn't matter what it's for. It could be for your favorite sporting event, could be to see your favorite band, could be to see your favorite comedian. I don't care what it's for. It's always stressful to buy tickets for that event because 9 times out of 10, especially if you're me, you don't know if you're going to be able to make it to that event until a couple of days before, sometimes the day before, and in some rare cases, even the day of. And so now you're scrambling, trying to find cheap enough tickets to buy that's not going to send you into the poorhouse. Well, all that stress is gone. Gametime is taking that all away from you. Now, not only will you be able to find last-minute tickets, but you're going to be given special offers on those last-minute tickets. You're going to be given flash deals on those last-minute tickets. Those tickets, you're not going to have to wait for them to come in the mail or even come in your email. Nope. It's made for mobile, so you'll get those tickets right on your phone. No fishing through spam folders. No trying to make sure you're going to be home and to get those tickets in time. None of that. None of that is a factor anymore with Gametime. And now if you use our promo code SGPN, we are going to hook you up with a special offer as well. I'll tell you about that in a second. But make sure you're buying tickets through Gametime, because not only do you get all that, but you get the Gametime guarantee, which means you're going to get all the lowest prices on the tickets, and they're going to send you a picture of your seat from where you are sitting. And if you find lower prices somewhere else, better prices for it, Gametime is going to make up the difference, 110% of it. You're going to get the value and then some on top of it. So snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code SGPN. We're going to hook you up with $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code SGPN for $20 off of your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. You can enter any parlay idea into the Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. You're going to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as expected probability for the entire parlay. Go sort through all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Well, Cody, again, it is the hybrid that is this Roval. It is not a road course. It is not an oval. It is some bastard in between that goes for 67 laps in this race around this 2.280 mile. I'm not even calling it a road course. I'm calling it a Roval course. 152 miles in this race. Yeah, we're going to see it all in this one. And you know, we talked about the chaos of the Cup race last year. I think we're in for a lot of chaos in this as well, because these guys, it's not as many laps and there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, one piece of news that I feel like we should cover real quickly here. We talked about in the Cup Series betting episode, this could be the final time at the Roval, likely would be the final time. Not the final time, Rod. They're coming back. The Roval remains on the schedule, much to many people's surprise. It's one of two road courses in the playoffs next year. Again, we'll have some schedule talk on one of these shows, the DFS or the Underdog show, next couple of days, but I did want to point that out because we're coming back. So, but yes, back to your point, stage cautions are back, right? Which we've seen a mixed bag on that in Xfinity this year, because they're not always with the Cup Series, Portland, Road America, stuff like that, where they did have the stage cautions anyways, but same thing here. And so it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have guys that really need the points. Are they going to be racing for the points? You're going to have the guys trying to flip the stages, which is going to be most of the field, trying to flip the stage. And trying to win the race. So going to get a mixture of that. We talked about it in the Cup picks, right? This race can be chaotic. It can be a true wild card. I kind of expect that in Xfinity, maybe even more so than in the Cup Series, right? We've seen how many of these road courses this season have we seen come down to the end? Have we seen the utter chaos? Was it the Road America race? Which one was it where the lead changed 49 times in the last two laps after Allgaier absolutely dominated the entire race, was going to cash all our tickets for us, and then Moyle Sack spilled oil everywhere and half the field crashed, and like it could come to that. So again, coming off of Super Speedway betting last week, it's going to almost not quite, but be a similar approach as far as I'm not going as crazy as I would on a normal oval race for this one, just because this is a true wild card race. It's a cutoff race. It's got everything going into it that just screams chaos. And then that's what NASCAR wants, with the restart zones, the cardboard on the track, everything. it can be chaotic.
That's your first drink, everybody. Listen, God did not.
I probably won't mention cardboard as many, although that's
not
two
this
times
time
already.
around,
But
no. You got everybody drunk last episode over that one, so I think you're good to go.
Hopefully, that was quite the drinking game.
No, God did not intend for ovals to become road courses, so I'm already pissed off about the fact we're coming back. But listen, 9 cautions last year for 15 laps. This race did go into overtime. It was scheduled for 67. It went 72. So again, it's just we have to expect that this race is going to be a lot like that, especially with this being a cutoff race, because I mean, these guys, you see how much they drive on a normal regular season race. This is going to be crazy at the end of this one.
Yeah. Don't start counting your bets until that checkered flag has fallen, because it's going to be crazy up until the end, most likely. So with that being said, we have found some good bets we like. Build for chaos in certain ways. You can build for how things should go in others. Are you ready to start hitting the bets, Rod?
I'm ready if they are. Let's go.
All right. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Austin Hill, top 5 plus money. Exactly. It's plus 150. Again, it's the last 2 races. I know he hasn't got in the top 5. We've gave out the top 5 bets. I don't care, because most of the time he gets in the top 5, Rod. 15 top 5 finishes this season, and you're getting him at plus 150 to finish in the top 5. And by the way, no Cup Series drivers in this race, right? They're not allowed to race in this. AJ Allmendinger isn't here. Ty Gibbs isn't here. Kyle Larson's not here. William Byron's not. You don't have the Cup Series guys in this. So 15 top 5 finishes this season. You go back and you look at his road course finishes. Cody opened the season, had a mechanical issue, not his fault. That'll happen. Watkins Glen, he was only 14th, but the Indy road course, he finished 4th. Road America, he finished 3rd. If you want to throw Chicago in there, which I don't really want to, but he did finish 5th there, so it counts anyways. He was 8th at Sonoma, but remember, there was, 5 Cup guys that finished 1st through 5th in that race, I think. So 3rd after the Cup guys, right? He was 5th place at Portland. He did finish 24th here last year, so didn't get the finish here last year. Again, the craziness at the end, but also something that could help him. He's very good at avoiding the chaos for the most part, putting himself in position to be there at the end. That's what you expect from Austin Hill. That's what you hope for from Austin Hill. Give me Austin Hill to finish in the top 5 plus 150.
If they're going to keep giving it to you at plus money, then I mean, you have to keep hammering it at plus money. There's just no other way around it. So I do agree with you on this one as well. Well, I tell you what, do you want to prep for some chaos? Because I'll tell you what, we're prepping for some chaos in this one as well. And maybe not so much, I guess, the chaos that we would think, because I don't think this is necessarily all that bad of a bet. It's just a long shot, and it's a long shot for a reason. And that is Alex Labbe. We talk about him being that road course kind of a guy. He's at a top 5. Follow me on this one. I'm pausing for effect here, so guys, hang with it. A top 5 at 12-1 over on Bet365. It's a rough sell. I get it, because we don't even bring up this guy's name hardly ever. And even, most of the time when it's on a road course, we still kind of go, meh, okay. But so you look at what he's done, though, on this Roval in his 5 attempts at this Roval. Now, I will preface this by saying he is driving the 91 car, and I'll circle back to that in a second, which is another reason why you kind of go, on this one. But on this track, on this Roval, he's got 5 starts. Like I said, 3 of those have been top 10s. He does have 1 top 5, but his top 5 was a 4th place. But 2 of his top 10s were 6th place finishes in this particular track. So he's got the pedigree to be able to get it done he was in the 38 car at that point when he was driving. He was in the 36 car and then the 90 car. I clicked off of that link when I thought I knew the number, but yeah, he was in the 36 car for 3 of those and then 90 in the other. Now we know Labbe just sort of jumps around and does whatever he wants in this series, because he's driven the 28, the 92, the 91, the 29, the 35, the 08, and the 35 again. So he's been all over the place. But in road courses this season, he's got an 11th place at the Indy GP. Now, I'm telling you that because 11th place after a 26th place start in Indy, which was another hybrid type track. He wasn't in the top 5, but he was not necessarily running poorly in that one as well. So given the fact that he was in, sort of lesser equipment, even in this, I still think he can get some of it done. In the 91 car this season, though, he does have an 11th place finish in Portland. I know, I get it. It's not it's not necessarily what you were hoping for. But again, for LeBay for a 12-1, I feel like him being 6th place a couple of times and 4th place already, he is able to get it done. And with what I feel like is probably going to happen, like you can't really count anybody out at this point, given what we've seen. Guys like that can Mosak can run around the front, and spoil oil all over the place. But yeah, I think for LeBay, I think this could be a good week for him. And at 12-1 for a top 5, I'm willing to take that chance.
Yeah, you need to have some of these bets to prepare for chaos because it could happen. LeBay is a very good road course racer, right? That's why they bring him in for these types of races. I don't know if you remember at Watkins Glen when Ross Chastain was nowhere near the top 5 and finished 4th after the complete and utter chaos at the end of the race in this car. It's possible for it to happen. He's been good here before. So I think at that number, it is a good bet to make, Rob.
Yes, sir. And, for me, like I said, and that was another point I was going to make too about the 91 car. I just totally spaced out on that one. But yeah, I mean, Ross Chastain did finish 4th in a road course race in this car. So it's not as if the car is terrible on road courses. It was just Ross Chastain.
Again, it wasn't a 4th place car all day, but
no,
chaos ensued, which how many times has that happened in the Xfinity Series on the road courses this year? Plus now it's the cutoff race and the playoffs, so the track that provides a lot of chaos anyways, like it all lines up. This is one of your good longer shot bets to have in case it gets to that type of scenario.
And if I'm giving a long shot, then I'm pretty much.
That's when you really got to pay attention because I do it all the time, but
yeah,
Rod, not so much.
I don't necessarily take that many risks, but all right, we will set up more bets for you. But let's tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has a way to play alongside your favorite football team. And as we know now, drive alongside your favorite drivers all season long. Exciting news, though. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. You go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers, you're going to enjoy a spicy 100 times payout. Whew, so hot. I'm over here getting hot. From now until October 4th, Underdog is matching 100% of your first deposit up to $500. Go ahead, lay down a big deposit. They're going to match that up to $500. Plus, $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players are going to wake up $10,000 richer as they're giving away $10,000 each. We're going to give you plenty of Underdog plays in our special Underdog episode, so come back for that. We'll tell you all the drivers you need to be on in that contest. Maybe we'll throw out a couple of football plays so you can cross play them if you would like to. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or a website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog's going to double that first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Right, so we are moving on to the next bet of our card for the Drive for the Cure 250 presented by BCBS over there on the Roval. I didn't get that in earlier, so I had to get that in now.
Yes, I'm glad you got that in. Another long, at least it's for a good cause, so we won't give them too much crap. But all right, Rod, next up for me, I'm going to go over to the top Toyota market. There is only 6 Toyotas in this race, so we're going to take 2 of them at a little bit of longer odds. We're going to play both of them and try and hit this. Again, only 6 of them. So if you've got 2 of them, you've only got to beat 4 other Toyotas. Pretty simple math. This provides for if they just happen to beat these other guys. This provides for if there's chaos and these other guys get spun out late. How many times do you see a guy running up, Justin Allgaier, running up front the entire race? He gets spun out in overtime, and he ends up finishing in 37th, even though he was first for the full course of the actual scheduled laps and loses all your bets for you. Been there, right? So it happens. So for top Toyotas, I am going to go over to Kaz Gralla at plus 800 and Connor Moylesack. I'm going to give him a chance to redeem himself and return to just being Connor Moylesack at 10-1. So in the Toyota group, you've got John Hunter Nemechek, obviously one of the favorites, but his road course racing is kind of up and down, right? It's not necessarily always the best. I love me some John Hunter Nemechek. Probably my favorite guy to bet on this season, maybe Corey Heim, but John Hunter Nemechek's made us a lot of money, right? Sammy Smith, I'm actually going to make a case for Sammy Smith here in a little bit, but only 18 points to the good. He could be points racing, which could put him behind the 8 ball as far as a finish in this one. Or if he does what I'm going to tell you he might do later, then you probably won't care if this one doesn't cash anyways. So, again, kind of hedging out a little bit on that one, right? You got Myatt Snyder here. He's going to be in the 19 car for Gibbs. So he's in their other car. But then it's Gralla and Mosak next. And then it's Alex Gunete. I don't even know who that is. So sorry to him, but hopefully you can beat somebody I've never heard of. So for Gralla, it's been up and down, but he's had some pretty decent results. Watkins Glen, he finished 28th. Again, it was a chaotic race, but 9th place at Indy, 7th place at Road America. You're telling me that 9th or 7th couldn't be good enough to be the top Toyota when there's only 6 in the field, and you've only got to beat 4 of them because you got the other guy as well. So I think those are pretty decent stats. He was 20th at Sonoma, 26th at Portland, 18th at Coda. There's situations where 18th could still be the top Toyota depending on how this race falls as well, right? So, and he was 5th place last year at Watkins Glen, so he's got some good finishes. For Mosak, 5th place at Watkins Glen. A wild, crazy race at the end. Guess where he was, right? He ended up finishing there in the end. 8th place at Portland. Also in that, let's see, because Mosak is in the 24 car, which is the car, if you remember, was it the Road America or Mid-Ohio? One of these. I don't remember which one it was. But Sage Karam almost won one of those road course races that was chaotic at the end of it. I think it was Road America.
It was.
We know that 24 car is capable of that, right? So, and I believe these are the 2 guys in the Sam Hunt cars, which they're not. We've talked about it before, right? They're not always the best cars, but they're not the worst cars either. These are the 2 Sam Hunt cars. Who is that? Alex? Oh, he's in the Emerling Gaze 35 car. So, again, unless he just kind of happens to avoid the chaos and ends up with a decent finish, he doesn't concern me as much. It's going to be John Hunter, Sammy Smith, and maybe even Myatt Snyder in the other Gibbs car. But there's enough things that can go wrong for these guys. At 8-1, at 10-1, you're basically getting 2 long shots in just a large group. We've played the top Toyota thing before. This is the way to play it, especially if you're going to account for chaos. And you don't even necessarily have to have the chaos to cash it. So Gralla 8-1, Mosak 10-1, top Toyota.
Mosak was the top Toyota in Watkins Glen in 5th place, so it's happened. And at 10-1, a lot like my LeBay 12-1, that's definitely one of those ones where, you just prep for it and you think, okay, well, this is probably not going to happen. And then all of a sudden at the end of the race, you're looking at it going, how did Mosak finish 5th? And how did he finish ahead of John Hunter? Well, doesn't matter. You're a little bit richer now in your account. So, all right, well, I'm going to pay a little juice on this one. And this one is a Cole Custer top 5 bet. I'm loading up the top 5, I guess. I've got 3 out of the top 5 already in my bets, but Cole Custer is a top 5. He's minus 120. The best price for that is at 365 right now. On this track in particular, he has a 7th place finish and an 8th place finish. He did lead 5 laps in 2019. So 2019, 2018, only 2 times that he's been an Xfinity driver on this track. He did start 6th place in 2018 and 4th in 2019. But here's the thing. So in 2019, he raced against AJ Allmendinger, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, and then those guys were all in there. So you take those 3 out, that's a top 5 car right then and there, right? So I'm not necessarily counting that one out at all. And then for the 2018 race, he was racing against AJ Allmendinger, or not AJ Allmendinger, but Chase Briscoe was in this one. Justin Mark, Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece, Christopher Bell, Matt Tifft, like all those guys finished in front of him on the Charlotte road course as well. So not necessarily scared of that, because you take all those guys out, he's actually the winner of this race. So can't argue on that one. As far as road courses go, well, we sort of know the checkered path of Cole Custer. We expected him to come in and win 600 races. That didn't happen. Had a rough go of it at Austin. He started 10th, finished 32nd. So not a good run for him there, but he won Portland, right? Finished 6th at Sonoma. And of course, we know in Sonoma, that was the race dominated by Eric Almirola and AJ Allmendinger and Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs. You take those guys out, it was Parker Kligerman and Cole Custer were the first 2 Xfinity regulars in that race to finish. So again, one at Chicago. I don't know what we're putting any weight in Chicago. Unfortunately, crashed out of the Elkhart Lake one. Road America started second, right? Finished 30th, but for Cole Custer in Elkhart Lake, he was jamming on it. He had speed, right? And he didn't manage to pull through. Indy GP started sixth, finished sixth, but in that race was Ty Gibbs and AJ Allmendinger. So you take those two guys out. That's a fourth place finish for him as well. Again, just right there knocking on the door. Watkins Glen, he finished seventh, but in Watkins Glen, you had Ross Chastain in there. And so, take that out. It was at least a sixth place finish. Maybe Sheldon Creed doesn't finish up there. Maybe Kligerman has a bad day and puts him in the top five. But anyways, Cole Custer, minus 120 for a top five. He's good at road courses. He just has to have the consistency to do it. And I think this is a track where he can get it done. He's done it before. So I definitely think he can do it again. He's on the heels of two top 10 finishes, a fourth place and a sixth place. So I know they're not road courses, but still, that's good momentum.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about right place, right time. He's got 2 road course / street circuit wins this season, and not because he was necessarily the best car, but just because he survived the chaos at the end, put himself in the position. That's what you're looking for if you want somebody to finish in the top 5. So yeah, hard to bet against him. I do like it. Next up for me, I'm going to take a little bit of a longer shot here at a top 5. I'm going to go with my guy, Brandon Jones, top 5 finish at plus 600. This one is definitely going a little bit out on a limb, but the Roval style of track, he's actually pretty good at. He finished 7th place here last year. He finished 5th place here in 2021 at the Daytona Road Course in 2021. Again, kind of a similar, Roval type of shape. He finished 4th place there. So he's been pretty good at the Roval type of races here lately. He did finish 11th at Watkins Glen, 10th at Road America, 11th at Coda. Not top 5s, no, but up in the top 10-ish area, not too far out of a top 5. You had Cup guys in some of those races. You take those guys out, slide you up a couple spots, wreck or two at the end of these, get some chaos. Brandon Jones can put himself in position. He did finish 5th at Road America last year as well. So 5th place is definitely possible. He's been a little better on the Roval type of tracks between Charlotte, between the Daytona Road Course as well. So Brandon Jones, top 5, 6-1.
Who does he drive for, Cody?
JRM.
Oh, yeah, then I'm a fan.
I was on a JRM bet before Rod was. I just want to point that out.
You know what? Listen, I will tell you right now, I literally stopped myself, like dead on. Right off the jump, I said, I will not load this card with JRM. The listeners are tired of hearing me talk about JRM. So I was like, I'm going to not load them, but I can't stay away because this next one is a JRM driver, and I have to bet this because this is one that I think I have a lot of faith in, and that's Sam Mayer. His top 3 number is at plus 120 over on Bet 365 as well. A lot of good value on Bet 365 today for these positional bets. But I mean, look, Sam Mayer on road courses, he won at Road America. He finished second at Indy. He finished first at Watkins Glen. I mean, those are already just 3 of the more recent road course races that he ran. Obviously in Austin, a top 7 finish there for him as well. But we talked about who was in those fields alongside. Now you take out all those 3rd place at Portland, 10th place at Sonoma, a top 10 finish with like half of the field being being full of Cup guys. So, I mean, in his brief career, Sam Mayer has done very well for himself at road course races. On this Roval in particular, he drove the 1 last season. He started 6th, finished 11th. The year before that, he finished 10th, driving the 8 car after starting 15th. So first 2 races haven't necessarily been top 3, not top 3 performances, but as we've seen him mature this season, you got to remember, he's still a young kid. Like this guy is still not, I don't even think he's old enough to drink yet, right? I think he's still somewhere in the vicinity of being like, I don't know, 20 something years old. So, again, to me, you've watched him mature, you've watched him grow, and I think we're going to see that more out of him. And for a top 3 performance when he's done it already in the last 3 road courses that he's been in, sign me up for that, especially at plus money.
Not old enough to drink until next June, Rod. He is only 20 years old. So,
oh my God, baby.
Yeah, he's a youngin' still, but He's had very good results. The one thing that scares me is if they points race, but he's almost so far back that it might be better to just race for the win. I don't know. So it'll be interesting, but he's definitely going to have an opportunity to get up there. We've seen what he's been able to do on road courses this season. So I do like Sam Mayer. I was very close to a Sam Mayer bet. Talked myself out of it last second, but I'm glad that you went that way. Rod,
you knew I was going to go that way. That's what
I knew you were. So I figured I was like, I could leave this off, and Rod will get me covered. Don't worry about it. We talked about Boris Said being in this race. We talked about finding a way to work him into this card, so we had to do it. Rod, he is going to be in the 17 car for Hendrick, so it is a good car. 61-year-old Boris Said, the original road course ringer, the guy from back in the day. That was the ringer, came in and did all the races, all of that stuff. It's a great story. It's awesome. But Rod, I can't bet on him. I got to bet again. For one, his numbers are horrible. It's like plus 250 for a top 5. No, thank you. I know it's a good car, but he's an older guy. It's a young man's sport for the most part. So I'm going to take Myatt Snyder over Boris Said at minus 115. Snyder is in that 19 JGR car. And so I think that he's going to have a pretty solid day. If you look back at Boris Said, 2021, he attempted to make the race at Road America, did not make the race. He finished 31st at Coda. Those were his last 2 Xfinity Series attempt and start. Prior to that, has not been in the Xfinity Series since 2015. So it's been a long time. I don't remember this, but he raced the Cup race at Coda last year.
Did he really?
That's what the statistics I saw said. So
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that, but apparently he did. So if he did, great. It says he finished 26, so I'm going to go with that. But prior to that, had not been in the Cup Series since 2017. So the point being, yes, he was the road course ringer. It was great. He's in a good car. I get it, but he's been out of this for a while. It's rough these days, right? It was more technical back then and racing the road. Now you're racing these other guys. You see it when these other guys come in and the Jordan Taylors of the world and all these other guys, and it's just they get pushed around a lot, right? I know SVG is the one outlier to that. I get it. It's different. Street course is different than a road course still, but we saw that the road course didn't work out as well for him. So, but it's just I hate to go against Boris Said, but I think you got to here. And you're getting another great car. It's a JGR car that's going up against him and Myatt Snyder. And Snyder, 5th place at Portland in his only road course start this season. So he had a good result there. Finished 13th here last year. If we're being honest, I think 13th is probably going to beat Boris Said in this race, most likely. Last year, he also finished 2nd at Portland, 6th at Coda. So it's been hit and miss when he's made starts. He was a full-time Xfinity guy just a couple of years ago in that 2 car before Sheldon Creed took over the following year, made the playoffs in that car. But in his spot starts on road courses since then, it's been good, solid results. A 5th, a 6th, a 2nd, 13th in this race last year. I just don't think we're going to get that from Boris Said. So, excuse me, Myatt Snyder over Boris Said, minus 115.
I feel like he jumped into that Army car, the 01 car at one point, and I'm trying to find it, and I don't. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but I feel like he drove the 01 car at one point. I was excited to see him drive the
well,
Army
I feel
car.
like either Nemechek,
a lot.
Nemechek or
Nemechek did drive the
Nadeau.
01 for a while.
Well, I know. So one of those guys missed some time with some injury, didn't they? I couldn't remember if it was Nemechek or if it was Nadeau, but I think one of them did. So he might have filled in at that point. Also, I did find he was in that race at Coda last year in the Timmy Hill, the MBM entry, the 66 car.
Oh my God.
So, some news that came out today. We'll talk about this later, but Ryan Newman's going to be racing for them in Xfinity Series at Homestead. So that's going to be fun. A couple weeks here, but we'll get to that at a later time.
Yes, we will. All right. I will set up my next bet, and that will be Chandler Smith over Riley Herbst. I know this tugs at our heartstrings because we all love us some Riley Herbst. But Chandler Smith over Riley Herbst over on Caesars is at minus 115. All I'm going to do, and I may just leave it at this, is read you the last 3 finishes for Riley Herbst on this Roval, and then we could probably move on to the next bet. No, I'm just kidding. We won't. So a 12th place finish in 2020. outstanding. Led 7 laps in that. That's fine. That's a doable. That's first time on your oval. We'll take it, right? But the next two, suspension issues, finished 34th after starting 9th. Crashed out of the 2022 race after starting 11th, finished 32nd. This Roval has not been kind to one Riley Herbst. A solid 10th place finish in Austin, that's cool, right? But a 32nd place finish at Portland after engine problems. 15th at Sonoma, okay, but not what you would expect out of a Riley Herbst machine, right? 24th at Chicago. I know it's a street course. I know we haven't put a whole lot of weight on it since then. Great. 5th at Road America, cool, but that was a bunch of craziness that went on. I don't think Riley Herbst was necessarily a 5th place car. He was 4th. He did start 4th, but I think he was battling in the middle of it too with all the pit strategy and all that going on. So not good there. 12th at Indy GP, 35th at Watkins Glen. It has been a very, very tough road course schedule for Riley Herbst to try to turn in some decent performances. Chandler Smith has never been on this track as an Xfinity driver before, so he'll be meeting it for the first time. But 12th place at Austin, not bad for one of your first road course starts, right? 9th place at Portland, 14th at Sonoma, 8th at Chicago. Turned around and had a bad day at Road America, crashed out of that one. But remember, the 16 car was still in the mix as well in the middle. Not necessarily probably to win this race, but it had its fits and spurts. Suspension issues at Indy GP took him out of that one, but an 8th place to follow up at Watkins Glen. I'm just really, really going on track history here for Riley Herbst because something about this track, it doesn't matter how good he does anywhere else, Riley Herbst cannot run this Roval to save his life. Therefore, I think Chandler Smith will have a better go of it in his first time out. Again, he's proven that he can hang with these guys on road course style races. And, the 16 car is not necessarily all that bad. And I'll make a more concerted effort to bid you on a better finish later. But yeah, I think Chandler Smith at least will finish better than Riley Herbst in this race at -115.
Putting a lot of faith in college cars in Xfinity Series here lately. That's my only argument against it. Otherwise, I think you got a pretty good case.
I was gonna say I'll make it later, but there was another way I was gonna go with that, and I was like, wait, save it for later.
No, I like it. Okay, next up for me, I am going to fade Chandler Smith's teammate for the weekend. Not the one you thought either, different one. The guy who's actually driving the number 11 car this week. It's Jordan Taylor. I'm going to take Austin Hill over Jordan Taylor. It's -125 over on DraftKings. It's -130, -140, some other places. DraftKings got the best price on that. But Austin Hill, I talked about him earlier, right? And you can just rely on him every week to get you good, solid finishes. He's going to be up front at the end of this thing. Again, if he can avoid the chaos, he's going to be there. For Jordan Taylor, we've seen a couple of starts from him now, right? He drove this car, which was the 10 car at the time, earlier this season at Portland, 24th place finish. He drove the number 9 car that was at Coda when he was filling in for Chase Elliott, right? Big thing. He finished 24th there. Now, you could maybe wait and see if this number changes after qualifying, because in those two races, the Portland race and the Xfinity Series, Taylor started 6th. What do you do in qualifying, Rod? You race the track, right? Of course, Jordan Taylor's good. He's great. He's a great road course racer, road course ringer. He's good at it. So he started 6th there in the Cup Series in the 9 car. He started in 4th place, right? Both races, though, finished back in the 20th because they get to the beating and banging. These guys, he's an IMSA guy. They're just not used to this style of racing. They're not used to getting pushed around like this. It's hard for them to hold their own. They're just not used to it. And it's going to happen to him again, especially at the Roval. So he's going to qualify well. Everybody's going to get all over him. Like, oh, Jordan Taylor. And then he's going to get spun out at some point in this race. He's going to end up 25th or worse, probably. Austin Hill's going to be in the top 5 at the end of the day. So you're going to cash your Austin Hill top 5 ticket. You're going to cash Austin Hill over Jordan Taylor. I sort of get, I guess, why these guys are matched up. But at the same time, I really don't. This seems like a crazy mismatch to me. I get that Jordan Taylor's the ringer. I get all of that. But give me Austin Hill all day, all night, -125 over Jordan Taylor.
It's set up exactly for the reason that you just laid out. I mean, a lot of these guys that are novices are going to look at the Taylor bet side of it and go, oh, well, this guy, they bring him in
and they're offering him a plus money. So it's, we're getting him over Austin Hill. He's not a road course guy, right? No.
Yeah,
he is.
I was going to say, just, cool your jets there, guys. All right. My next bet features two manufacturers head to head, and that is Toyota and Ford. I'm going to take the Toyota side of this. This is at -115 over on Caesars. And really, if you're looking back to, especially last year in this race, so it was what, 5 Chevys that topped it. And then 2, 4, oh, that was 2020. In 2022, it was, oh, for the love of God, Rod, where are you at? There it is. 2022. Sorry, guys. Long night last night. So clicking tabs is not my forte. It was AJ Allmendinger in a Chevy that won this race, and Toyota fell in second place to Ty Gibbs. Then it was Chevy, Toyota, Chevy. You got to go all the way back to 9th place for the top Ford in this one. That's Ryan Sieg. There was 3 Toyotas and a slew of Chevys in front of that in 2022. And then in 2021, AJ Allmendinger, surprise, won this race. And then Austin Cindric was a Ford, so he actually snuck his way up there. But it was the 18 of Daniel, that guy, was the Toyota that was up next. Then it was Toyota. But the next Ford after Austin Cindric, oh, Cody, I'm still scrolling. That's Ryan Sieg in 32nd. That was the next Ford on the list in 2021. Unfreaking believable. And then it was Riley Herbst. And then there was only 3 Fords in that entire field. Unbelievable. What a race that was. And then in 2020, Chevy, Austin Cindric, Cody Ware were the 2 Fords. The first Toyota there was Brandon Jones. Obviously, Cindric and Ware not running this race. So you got to go back pretty far for it to be that. Now, you go back to road courses this season in Austin. Chevy, top 2, Toyota, top 4. The next Ford, Riley Herbst in 10th place. You look at Portland. A Ford won that one. That was Cole Custer. But it was Chevy, and then Toyota after that. And then in Sonoma, a Ford won that. That was Eric Almirola. But then it was Chevy, Toyota. And then the next Ford was Cole Custer in 6th. And then go back to Road America. Chevy, Toyota. And then Ford right after that. So Ford, Toyota and Ford, 4th and 5th. Brickyard, Toyota won that one. So that one was a edge up. And then in Watkins Glen, Chevy, Toyota. I'm laying out to you that Toyota has beaten Ford more times than they haven't in these road course races. I believe that to be the case this week as well.
Yeah, and just like we talked about with Toyota, right? There's only 6 of them. So, you know, that's an argument against it, but there's only 8 Fords. And the Ford group is so weak, they don't even offer top Ford this week, Rod. Like they said, fuck that, not losing our money on this, because you look through it and it's really weak. I mean, it's Cole Custer. You made a case for him to do good, but then it's Josh Bilicki. Brett Moffitt, he might do all right? Then Kyle Sieg, Joe Graff, thank you. Ryan Sieg, he does okay, but Sage Karam, I know I made argument for him almost winning earlier, but that's the 66 car. And then it's Riley Herbst, who you just said has been horrible here. So you compare that to the Toyotas, and you've got a good solid lineup. You've got 3 Joe Gibbs cars. That alone makes it weighs heavy in the Toyota favor. And then you're adding also, you know, the 2 Sam Hunt cars that I talked about already, and then that other guy that I've never heard of. But but the Toyota field much stronger than the Ford field, and really outside of Cole Custer, you're going to be hard-pressed to find someone probably even in the top 10 over in the Ford camp. So, and only -115. That's, wow. That's a really, really good number. I really do like this bet.
And really, the only one you fear is Cole Custer. And Cole Custer can still finish in the top 5, and a Toyota can beat him. Like that's Toyota will probably end up finishing 2nd or 3rd in this one, or 4th for that matter. And you'll still cash both bets because, I mean, Cole Custer is the only one that can steal a win in my opinion.
Even in chaos, like you could end up with a top Toyota finishing in 13th and still beat the Fords because there's a lot of Chevys. So that's what we're trying to say, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a top finish even. So I do like this, and it's a fun way to get on it because it gives you all the Toyotas against all the Fords and just whichever one finishes the best.
I know. I love that too. And I love that I figured out what that even meant in the first place. So thank you, Caesars, for continuing to give us that one and for us to know what it actually means. All right. We will come back and give you some winners, but there are winners that we're going to introduce you to right now.
Hey, everybody. If you play fantasy football, especially in auction leagues,
or you're a whiskey fan.
Yes, exactly. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast Fantasy Football Channel show, Old Fashioned Football.
Coming to you every Tuesday morning, give us a listen. We'll bring you the latest fantasy football data, including
The injury report,
studs and duds,
waiver wire targets,
and suggested fab.
market movers. After all, we are the Marks.
He is my hubby.
And she's J Mark's wifey.
And we're bringing all this to you while drinking an old fashioned and giving you our honest review of a different whiskey every week.
All that and more. Hop on over, give us a listen, come for the football, stay for the whiskey.
This ad's almost done.
Going once, going twice.
Sold.
I'll have you know, Cody, that I started with one winner in the box. And then
Kind of looks like a Cody filled out your box.
Cody, and then Cody started to fill out more. No, then you crept into my head, and I was like, oh, wait, I could. And then, wait, no, I could. So now I have 3. So thanks to Cody, I've got 3 leveled up winners in this one. So you're welcome, America, and overseas, wherever you listen.
I've taught you well. And now we just need that insurance sponsor to sponsor these insurance bets.
Thank God. Let's go. All right. Speaking of winners then, Cody, who are we lining up in your box?
I'm back on the Parker Kligerman train. He is on fire, and he's going to win this weekend. 10-1 for Parker Kligerman. I'm going to be honest, nothing above that really super jumped out to me just because of all of the unknowns, all the chaos. There are some very, very short lines this week as far as the winners go. Parker Kligerman 10-1 was kind of the first guy that jumped off the board to me. Rod, second place at Texas in this last race. They were out 4, and he should have won that race, but he fucked that up. But he's got 4 top 5 finishes in the last 6 races. He finished 3rd place at Watkins Glen in the most recent road course race. He finished 7th at Indianapolis, 2nd at Road America earlier this season. He won a truck race last season at Mid-Ohio, outdueling Zane Smith at the end. So Kligerman, very good road course racer. He's come close. He almost won that Road America race earlier this season. Again, that chaotic ending. Put himself in the right position at the right time. I think he could do that. The one little thing that scares me is if they point race, right? He's 1 point to the bad right now. It's so hard. That's the toughest part about betting this weekend is not knowing who is going to do what, because if they points race, it's going to be tough. But even if you points race, you can still put yourself in position. It's going to depend who else stays out to points race. It's going to depend if you're in a position to get points. There's going to be a lot of factors that go into it. Still like Parker Kligerman to win at 10-1. Then Rod just kind of searching down the board, looking for value. Again, there's not your top outright is the one guy I was like, oh, I really want to. And then Road America flashbacks just kept creeping into my head and I couldn't do it. But so looking down the board, Sammy Smith at 17-1. He's very volatile, right? Sometimes it's really good finishes. Sometimes it's not so good. I made a case kind of against him to finish great with taking some other guys as the top Toyota, but good way to hedge out of this. He's on a streak of, it was a very long streak of not good finishes for a long time for Sammy Smith this season. But these last 2 races, finished 9th at Bristol, 3rd at Texas a couple weeks ago. So a couple of good solid finishes. He has announced his plans for next year. He's taking his talents over to JRM, leaving the Toyota group. But this team is still in the hunt for the championship here. He is a little bit above the cutoff line. So I expect him to have a good day, but he can be a good road course racer when he doesn't screw it up like we've seen him do a few times, right? But 4th place at Kokoda. He was 9th place at Sonoma. Again, that was with all those Cup guys in the field. 3rd place at Watkins Glen last season. So he's got a couple of good results, a lot of not so good results as well. So it's, again, you're taking it, you're getting it. We know he can fuck it. That's a thing. But at 17-1, you know he can be fast. Those JGR cars are the best cars in the field every single week, right? Come on, do you think I wasn't going to have a JGR car as an outright here? John Hunter, way too short of odds for as not good as on road courses as he's been. But love Sammy Smith at 17-1. And then, Rod, I'm kind of looking down the board, and the next guy that jumped out to me, Connor Mosack, 100-1. And here's the reason why. Because this race could turn into absolute and utter chaos. And if that happens, and The leaders take each other out. Now we're going to overtime. And the leaders take each other out. Now we're going to overtime. Now first through fourth all gets taken out. Now we're going to overtime. And Mosak just keeps creeping up. And now he's put himself in position. He's a good road course racer. We kind of established that earlier when we were talking about Top Toyota. Finished 5th place at Watkins Glen earlier this year. 8th place at Portland. Those are not bad finishes at all. And that 24 car is capable of winning on a road course or coming very close. We talked about it. Sage Karam almost won one of those chaotic road course races earlier this season in that car. It can happen. The car has had good finishes, and Mosak has had good finishes. I think some of these were in the 19 car. I don't have that part written down, but either way, these cars are still good enough to win. It's 100-1, obviously a long shot, but it's a long shot it's got a chance. Things could go very, very crazy in this race. We could be 8 overtimes deep, and there's only 6 cars left. Mosak could be one of the, he can put himself in position. Do I think he's going to be the dominant guy in the day? Probably not. That's why he's 100-1. But I know he can put himself in position late to have a chance. Leaders take each other out. Mosak slips through, takes that 24 car to victory lane. I can see it happening. At 100-1, it is definitely worth a bet.
Speed's important on road courses, but being able to handle the track is more important, and Mosak has proved that. So a long shot, like you said.
As long as he's not in oil everywhere.
Well, yeah, Moilsack. I'm surprised I saw his name on there.
I know that's twice. He's got 2 chances to redeem himself, Rod.
Yeah, he does.
If he hits 100-1 for me, I will never say another bad word about him in his entire life.
You hear that? You got 2 chances.
This is your chance, Connor.
All right. Well, look, you talked about the odds being pretty short at the top, and they are. And I don't know that I could ever fill out a card without putting Justin Allgaier's name on there somewhere. So here is the one where I put Justin Allgaier's name out there. 350 on Superbook, plus 350 for the win on this track. I've talked about Justin Allgaier season long. It's not necessarily that you guys need me to tell you why he can win this race, because he can win just about every race that he's in, right? The car's always fast enough. The driver's always good enough. It's just, can he stay out of trouble? On this track in particular, 3 top 10 finishes, 2 top 5s in his 5 starts. He is tied for he's tied as the most active driver with top 5 finishes with another guy whose name we don't say. But you look back at that 2022 race, the drivers that finished in front of him in this race were AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, and James Davidson. Those 4 cars finished in front of Justin Allgaier. And guess where Justin Allgaier would have finished without all those guys in there? First place. So I know that's a kind of a weak argument, but at the same time, he didn't outduel some of those guys that were in there, but they're not in there now. He's racing against guys that he's been racing with all season long. 5th place finish at Austin. It was a top 5. I know it wasn't a win. Turned around, finished 2nd at Portland. So damn close to that win. Led 23 laps in that race. I'm still fuming over that one because I'm pretty sure I had him to win in that race. 7th place at Sonoma. 3rd at Chicago. Bad day at Road America. That's why Cody's flashbacks are seeping into mine as well. 5th at Indy GP. Had a bad day at Watkins Glen, but he did start 3rd there. He's won at Bristol recently. He's got 4 top 5 finishes in, or 3 top 5 finishes in 4 races. Look, it's Justin Allgaier. At plus 350. It would not surprise me at all if he ends up winning this race, even though he's a shorter odds as many. All right, my next guy that I'm going to throw out is Sheldon Creed. It's a weird one, I get it, at 10-1 over on DK. But Sheldon Creed, look, he led 18 laps here last year, right? He started 4th, led 18 laps. Bad day, though, overall. He finished 16th. Again, I think that was that race where he was up front, and then what did he get into it with somebody at the end of that one? I'm trying to look back. He got caught up in that lap 60 incident that took out pretty much half of the field in turn 2. But he was leading for a better part of the race in the middle of it. So, and then toward the end, before Ty Gibbs ended up taking over that race. But yeah, I mean, but for Sheldon Creed, look, a 9th place run at Austin, turn around and started on the pole, put the thing on the pole in Portland. We were pulling for him, and he ended up finished 7th. 11th after starting 3rd at Sonoma. Chicago, he started in 2nd place, finished 11th. Road America, another bad day for him there, 26th. Indy GP. He finished 8th. Came close at Watkins Glen.
He should have fucking won that race.
21 laps he led, and that's where I'm sort of hoping that that sort of momentum for him carries through. And if not now, when, Cody? If not now, when?
I feel like I've said that 100 times, but again, this is very much like Sammy Smith play. Like, these guys are very similar, and they're fast cars. They're good drivers. We know they can get there and do it at the end. Sammy Smith at least has won one before, but and Creed's been so fucking close. He should have won at Watkins Glen. He's been so close, and he's capable of doing it, even though we haven't seen it yet in the Xfinity Series. We've seen it in the Truck Series plenty of times. We know he can do it, and he's going to get there at the number. Again, I think it's worth it, and it's going to be chaotic. So if he gets wiped out, you can't be too sad about it, because he finds himself in the bad spot a lot of the times, but that could play in his favor like it almost did at Watkins Glen too. So I love that play.
We were that close. And then my last one, it's a 60-1 shot. It's Chandler Smith. That 16 car has been the only car in victory lane on the Roval. Why stop now? I get that it's a different driver. I get that it's a different situation. But, listen, Chandler Smith, we talked about him earlier in the episode as far as him being better than Riley Herbst in this car. Granted, he hasn't ever been on this track, but he's proven that he's capable of road racing and hanging with all of these old guys, him being the young buck that he is. But yeah, like I said, the 16 car is the only one that has ever seen victory lane in the Xfinity Series in this Roval. Car's got muscle memory. Let's go. Take it back into victory lane. 60-1. I mean, like I said, I know it's a different driver. I know he's never been on the track before, but I'm willing to play out that narrative for 60-1.
I am going to do you a favor, Rod. I am going to make a checklist. So let's get started for this colleague number 16 car. Cool suit. Brakes. Make sure we have brakes. Those are important. Tires. Make sure we put tires on the car so it actually gets on the track. I'm just trying to think of all the issues these colleague cars have had. No, just kidding.
No, it's true.
But but it's 60-1. Oh yes. I mean, it is a good bet. And again, if it's going to be chaotic at the end, he's the type of guy who put himself in position. If you take nothing else away from this, this has the potential to be crazier than Talladega was last week. Like it really does. And so you've got to work some of that into your bets, because you might just fall into one of these long shot bets, even though sure that guy didn't earn that during the race or in the first 3 overtimes, but in the 6th overtime, he was in the right place at the right time. And then that's what you're kind of looking for. And if we catch those types of bets, you're damn straight we're going to brag about them.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Are you kidding me? Even I will brag about it. And you know how I don't necessarily jump off the pedestal. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, I'm ready for this to go into overtime. I'm not willing to necessarily take the bet on overtime. Did Caesars put that out? I didn't see if they actually put.
Oh, if they did, smash that it's going into overtime. I would be surprised if this race doesn't. And there's the opportunity it doesn't. And to go back on your Allgaier pick too, I love Allgaier. Right? He should be the best car this weekend, and he doesn't have to race for points. And see, we say that, but then the one thing is, if he is leading, he can go for those extra playoff points. So you got to worry about that. But if they've got an opportunity to just go for the win, they might do it. And we end up getting a long green flag run at the end. He's the best car. No problem. He wins like he should have done at a place like Road America. But it's them late fucking cautions that just scare the shit out of me with him. But it's hard to say that's a bad bet too, because he should be the best car and the best driver on this track this weekend. So it's again, it just depends how this race plays out.
It really is. And again, so Caesars isn't offering it. I don't see it on Bet365. If your book offers overtime, go ahead and hammer that. Just be careful, because if it's too juiced, then don't.
Yeah. Don't go too far. But yeah, I would be. You're on this race 100 times, 95 of them you're getting overtime, I'm guessing. So
yeah, I would think so too. So, all right. Well, we will give you the bets that we did give you, and you could take out your pen and paper as we go over them once more for you. Cody gave you Austin Hill as a top 5 car at plus 150, just basically an auto bet. If your book has AI and can automatically place bets for you, that's one that's probably going to go in every single week. I gave you Alex Labay as a top 5 car at 12-1, is a little bit longer of a shot over there on Bet365. Cody gave you a couple of top Toyota bets for you. Kaz Gralla at 8-1, Connor Mozak at 10-1 for a top Toyota. I gave you Cole Custer as a top 5 car at -120 over on Bet365. Cody gave you Brandon Jones inside the top 5 at 6-1. I said Sam Mayer would crawl inside of the top 3 at +120 on Bet365. Cody gave you Mr. Snyder over Boris Said out at -115. I told you that Chandler Smith was going to finish better than Riley Herbst at -115 over on Caesars. Cody said that Austin Hill would finish better than Mr. Taylor at -125 over on DK. I gave you Toyota over Ford at -115 on Caesars. And then Cody loaded you up with Parker Kligerman at 10-1, Sammy Smith at 70-1, and Connor Mozak at 100-1 to win this race. I gave you Justin Allgaier at +350 with my insurance bets of Sheldon Creed at 10-1 and Chandler Smith at 60-1 on Superbook to win the Drive for the Cure 250 presented by BCBS on the Roval. Cody, that's it.
I forgot to make one point on my Connor Mozak bets. This is the Drive for the Cure race, and he is running one of the coolest paint schemes I've seen. It is a Sherry Strong Foundation one. So again, if you believe in the storylines, you believe things line up. It's obviously Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You get the Sherry Strong car into victory lane in the Drive for the Cure race. Just saying.
I can't think of a better narrative than that. So, all right. Well, we will be back again tomorrow with our DFS picks. And then later on, this will be a Saturday edition. You guys can wake up and mow the lawn with the Underdog Fantasy picks. I know you guys listen to it when you mow the lawn. I know you do. Or in the shower, or I don't know where you listen to your podcast.
I listen to podcasts all those places. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wherever you take us, which, by the way, I guess in Discord, let us know, because I want to know the craziest place
where you listen, or the craziest place you've listened, because I would be interested. I'm a big podcast listener. I listen to podcasts all throughout the day, doing anything pretty much. So I would like to hear where people listen to us.
Yeah, because I know for me, it's normally when I drive, because if I'm home, I'm here. I'm literally sitting at this desk. So
true.
Yeah. So I the time I get to listen is in the car. That's where I spend most of my time listening. But yeah, I'm curious. I want to know, because yeah, if you guys have some crazy places at the birthday party, at a baseball game or something, I want to know.
There you go. Let us know.
All right. Speaking of letting us know, Cody, let us know where they can find you, where everybody can find you on social media and the world at large.
Yep. Follow me on X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my work over there. Check out the F1 Gambling Podcast as well. Episode of that is out there. So yeah, check it out and have some fun with F1 this weekend. Yeah,
they're in Qatar, and they are going to be practicing tonight. Or no, tomorrow night, rather. Well, I don't know. Whenever you listen to this, they'll probably be practicing at that point. So time lapse are never our friend.
And hey, it's like a noon Central Time race, so you can have that on, have the Cup race on, have the NFL on. Oh, we need to make a trip to God's Eye. Jeez.
I don't live too far away. I think I'll be going there this weekend to catch all the action. In the meantime, folks, follow me on X at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you are checking out In Between Media's Backroads, Seth and Elliott holding it down this week. And then, of course, come back for my 4 frequency sake fast money show. Yeah, we got to go. Till then, everybody, let's go racing and let it ride. Cast away all the miles through the darkness,